Hey there! So today I want to do a little bit of a library orientation. So I want to talk for a second about how the library works for each class. Most of the time in your class, you'll probably have a teacher who picks databases that work best for that class. So when you're working with me, I'll show you the ones that I like, but when I move to English 112, I have a different set, and honestly, when I move to 231, I have a different set. And so basically, there's always good research, and just some of us like different databases more. So I'm going to show you the three that I think you should use for this paper. Now, one of the things that we may talk a little bit more about later is that I want you to use academic sources from the library for your argument paper. And so with that being said, the library is where you're going to get those sources. Now, obviously, I think you can go in and get books, but I think the latest information that you can find will be on the databases. So I want to look at three different places. I want to look at the best place to help you pick a source, the best place for just background information on a source, and the best place for research on a source. And I've got a little PowerPoint attached already that shows you just a picture of what they look like, so that can help a little bit. So I want to go first to databases A to Z. Okay, and so when we go in there, we've talked about this a little bit already, but opposing viewpoints, sorry. And so if you go there, click on the opposing viewpoints, and so here they have lots and lots of different issues. So if you want to look through all their issues, you actually can go in here and kind of look through them. And so if you're interested in healthcare access, then you could go in here and they'll have different ideas and different viewpoints on here. So you really almost get everything from this source itself. I would look more for academic journals and viewpoints than anything else in here. And so they have featured viewpoints. It says, obviously, the pandemic has made the U.S. healthcare crisis far more dire. We must fix the healthcare system. So if you wanted to argue for like universal healthcare, that would be something you could probably look at. Okay? So there's that one. I like this one because I think it gives you a lot of good information in one place. And so if we did pick this, we were like, okay, I want to use this source. And I look at that and I say, it looks like it's got a nice kind of heft to it. So I think you could use that. Go to cite, and we talked about this. Make sure it's an MLA, but you can actually cite it right there. Okay, so that's my first place, and that's really, for me, where I would go to find a source. So now, if you would like to instead, you want to do a little bit more background research, what I would do is I would go to Credo, and that's in the C's. And what you have here is Credo Reference. And so reference is more like an encyclopedia. And so if you're just like, I want a little bit more background information on violence in the workplace. So what it's going to do for you, it's going to bring up more. It's not going to have so many arguments in it. It's just going to have background information. Now, if we think about your essay, the way you have to set up your paper is you're going to have your intro, and then you're going to have your background information. So this one may or may not be helpful, but I wanted to point it out. So there's that one. That's Credo. And so far we've just dealt with databases A to Z, O for opposing viewpoints, C for Credo, and then you actually can go to N for NC Live. And this is where I would do a lot of my research. I just think we'll get the best sources here. Workplace violence. And if you click in something, obviously we'll find lots of different kinds of sources. The one thing about this, you may have to dig around. You may have to say, okay, I don't really want to learn about workplace violence against medical staff of Chinese children's hospitals. That may not be what you're interested in. So you may have to go in here and say something a little bit more specific. If you're more interested in maybe workplace shootings, bullying, I think could be really interesting. And it really doesn't necessarily, I know it's not the exact same thing, but some of it could kind of lead to other things. But so I guess the point that I'm trying to make here is, the point that I want to make here is that if you don't find something when you type in one thing, that doesn't mean give up. That means change the wording around. And then you may find that number one, it helps your topic take a little bit of a different life, but that might be better. Or two, you might not be able to find enough information about that. So those are the three sources that I would use. I'm going to go back to the library page for just a second and show you just a couple more things that are really cool about this. And probably the only other thing that I really, really love is I love this place where you can get research help. So you're like, okay, well, Hunter didn't give me tons. She told me these are the three best sources, and I don't feel like I'm ready yet. What I would do, you can also get research help. Obviously, I'll help you if you need help too. But go to get research help, and you can actually sign up for a meeting, so it will be a virtual meeting with a librarian. And so that's pretty cool too. And I just love that resource. I've noticed that a lot of my students use it. Sometimes we end up pointing our students from the Writer Center over to the library, so they are just the greatest. So kind of keep that in your mind if you're like, oh, I feel stuck. Obviously, I can help you, but if it's something like more specific about the research, then I'm going to say go to them. And that's just basically how that's going to work. Okay? So, nothing else. If you don't have any more questions, those are the three. One for finding your topic, one for background, and one for research. If you want to, you can get all of your information from one. You don't have to use all three. Just those are the three that would work. All right, y'all. That's it. Have a good day. Bye.